Hi, a quick heads up on today's podcast. And it's all about just having a fresh look at personal development and really just noticing the things that sometimes where we have to go a little bit backwards to make massive leaps forwards, and just notice the things that maybe we haven't noticed and clearing stuff to allow us to, well, get what we want. So it's a little bit, well, I've called it de-hypnotizing as opposed to hypnotizing. That's really confusing, I think, but have a listen. I know you'll find it interesting. I know you will. And there's a story in there which is a really nice story too, and it's a lovely metaphor. So please enjoy and let me know. Let me know how you use this particular podcast, so I think you'll find it most useful. Really do. Here he is now. Personal development, unplugged. Hey, welcome back to the PDU, Personal Development Unplugged. And today I want to talk about, it's not about adding, it's about taking away. I don't know if that really explains what I'm going to talk about. So here's the thing. Personal development is all about learning and adding new things, isn't it? Well, sort of. You know, there's part of that, but it is about learning. But it's also maybe about seeing what's already there. Stuff that's hidden behind our emotions, our behaviours. You know, the stuff that we're doing right now. Still didn't make too much sense there, does it? Bit deep there, Paul, I reckon. So maybe another way. Before we move forward, we need to clear our glasses, the lenses, the filters that we see the reality that we believe is our reality. What? Still too deep? Hey, okay, I want to tell you a story. And it's from a lovely book called Leaves Before the Wind, an NLP book, and it's a story, a metaphor, written by Dr. Diane Marshall. I'm not going to read it out to you, because I don't think that's the right thing to do, but I'm just going to go for it. And it's called The Leapfrog Prince and His Magic Spectacles. Okay, it's a story. Bear with me. Just bear with me. You see, there was this leapfrog prince, and he was walking down this narrow forest road. It's a track, really. And there he was with his best friend. Who was his best friend? Well, that was the flower-backed turtle, of course. And nothing seemed to bother the flower-backed turtle. He would just walk along casually, just taking things as they happened, really. A real chilled-out dude, really. And the deeper they went into the forest, the darker it got. But darker in a nice way. And it seemed to the leapfrog prince that he was beginning to match the flower-backed turtle, becoming more effortlessly as he was just going deeper and deeper into the forest, until they got to this lovely place where they just sat down. And then as they were sitting down, the leapfrog prince decided he would have a lay down. So he laid down, and as in these stories, he slept. And he heard this voice, though. He heard this voice saying, "You don't have to dream this dream. In fact, you don't have to take anything from this dream. In fact, if you want, you can edit it just the way you want. Only take what you need." And as he dreamt and slept, it was as if the flower-backed turtle reappeared to him, and they were by a pond, and the flower-backed turtle beckoned to him to dive in, to go way down into that water. And it was as if they were being sucked down gently below the surface. And as they went deeper and deeper, all of a sudden, he was beside another pond. And the flower-backed turtle said, "This is where the siren below the pond is, and she will help us." And as they waited, they suddenly saw the siren below the pond, waving to them and diving into this little pond. So they followed. And as they went deeper and deeper, they appeared in a chamber, and the siren of the pond below the pond said, "See all these lovely bags. There's lots of thousands of bags. Purses, maybe." And she gave the Leapfrog Prince one of these purses, and she said, "In this purse there are 3 compartments, and in each compartment there's a set of glasses. And I want you to use each one, starting from the top, and then the middle, and then the bottom. And I want you to use them in the up-and-coming Master Leaping Contest." Now, the Master Leaping Contest games, as they're really officially called, was a big up for the Leapfrog Prince. It was another level for him. So he thought, okay. Anyway, he took the purse. And on the day of the first of the 3 competitions, the Leapfrog Prince put the very first set of glasses on. And they were gold with green lenses. And as he looked, everyone looked second rate. They didn't look up for it at all, and he felt good and strong. In fact, he looked at the crowd, and they were all cheering for him. He felt good. He looked at the judges, and they were all smiling at him, and he felt good. And he finished last. Not so good, eh? So, onward we go into the penultimate Leapfrog Games, Master Leapfrog Games, given their proper title. And he took out the second set of glasses. These were silver with grey lenses. And when he looked at everyone, and my goodness, the competition looked better than ever. They were so strong, and he began to feel so helpless. He looked at the judges, and it was as if they were looking through the side at him, looking down upon him. They weren't smiling, they were grimacing a little bit and just muttering to themselves and then looking at him. He looked at the crowd, and the crowd were looking everywhere but at him. He felt helpless. And guess what? He came last, and it was worst ever leaping he'd ever done. Well, he was really looking for the last one, wasn't he? So, the last day of the games. And he put on the very last set of glasses. And these ones didn't have any rims, and they were clear. And when he looked out, he looked at the opposition, and some were really strong, looked very fit. Some were not so much, and some didn't look like they were at the races. There was a whole range of everyone. He looked at the judges, and some were looking at him, some were not taking any attention at all, and some were looking at the crowd. And when he looked at the crowd, he noticed the crowd where some were looking at him, and some were looking at the other people, and all things going on, not just doing what they do. The crowd was like a so-so crowd. But anyway, there was a 3-way tie for first place. And guess what? He was in it. He had come equal first in the Master Leaping Games. And you see, back in the forest, in sync with his best friend, the flowerback turtle, they were walking down that same narrow forest pathway to that lovely piece of grass. And it just seemed to be effortless to get in tune with that best friend of his, the flowerback turtle. Nothing seemed to bother him at all. It was effortless. And that was when they saw the siren below the pond for the last time, who said, "You've got such a wonderful friend. It's great to have a friend like the flowerback turtle. And you can keep those glasses, and you can wear whichever ones you choose. It's your perspective." So that's a story. And you don't have to listen to it. Well, you did. And you only take from it what you want. Too deep still? Okay. It's not too deep, I know. But here's the thing. You see, when I see clients for hypnotherapy, hypnosis and NLP and all that stuff, they generally come with anxiety. And that anxiety leads to fears. And those fears can lead to phobias that actually stop you going anywhere. Now, sometimes people come with sadness, and that sadness leads to depression. And that depression leads to, again, sometimes phobias of not going out, losing friends, not getting what they want. Then there's things like OCD and all these things I know are created in their unconscious mind, and they're created for a great intention. But it's understanding that sometimes. It's as if we need to not hypnotize people to change, but we need to, in effect, de-hypnotize them. De-hypnotize them to see what's behind that, not the reality they're seeing at the moment. What lenses are they looking through? And that's when I said, sometimes we need to clean our glasses, the lenses, the filters that we use. Because not just before we move forward, but I think we also need to clear the lens of those negative filters that once we understand the intention, we can let them go and we can see reality for what it is. And then really allow this personal development of ours to expand. So how do we do this? Well, the first thing I really think is that go and see a therapist. If you've got things like real anxiety, real fears, phobias, sadness, which is getting too much, depression, OCD, all that stuff, go and see a therapist. I've done a podcast way back to say what to see in a therapist, the things you need to, I believe, having a therapist is going to really help you. Get some real rapport with somebody and find the root cause of this, clear it, and then you can set your direction. But okay, maybe you don't want to see a therapist. There are other things online, I'm sure. I've got one or two things happening myself on paulcloughonline.com, but it's not a plug for that. The second thing you can do is, I believe, we can explore those negative emotions, those negative behaviors. You see, getting Jenny Journal out, just notice if, say, you're anxious about something or you're sad about something, what could be the benefits to you for having that anxiety, that sadness, that OCD or what have you? What is the intention? Because, take the very simple thing of someone being afraid of heights. What's the intention there? Well, it's safety. You never see anybody with a phobia of heights falling off anything, let alone a mountain. So the intention is safety. So now we have to look for what can I learn from this and how can I get this safety another way? Because when you know that it's an inappropriate behavior to a wonderful intention, then you can start finding another way. Also, the thing we can look for is secondary gain. What's secondary gain, Paul? Secondary gain is, what are you getting out of this yourself? And this is not a conscious thing. Can be, but generally isn't. I mean, there are some people who can be ill in a way, but never really have the push to get better because they're getting so much help from other people. I remember a long time ago I worked with a woman with a phobia for lightning, and it never went. And in the end, after the first session, we actually said, look, this is not going to go because of one reason. You love this phobia of yours. In fact, she could talk about this phobia, this fear, with a smile on her face. That gives you an indication it's not a phobia or a fear. But all her friends used to phone her up if there was a lightning or thunderstorm coming, and all come round her, all look after her, take her away, do stuff. And she loved it. And she also loved doing stuff by herself outside of that when it wasn't thundering. So she had the best of both worlds. So that's a secondary gain. She was getting something out of it, more importantly, than she wanted to let go. So maybe there's some secondary gain that people are helping you. Now, to me, it's just a matter of saying, well, how can I get that same thing another way? So again, in Jenny Journal, we ask, what can I learn from this? And if you listen with all your awareness, all your senses, I know you'll get some answers. What is a positive intention for having this feeling, this emotion, this behavior? And once you understand what it's trying to do for you, we can ask a question and even think about it consciously as well. So how can I get this intention in a better way? And it's like when your unconscious mind realizes it's really not getting that intention, what it wants for you. In fact, the behaviors are actually in conflict with what it wants. It will find another way. That's what I do with my clients. When we find that conflict, it's a guiding process to find better ways. And the unconscious mind, like a click, just gets it. What could those other ways be? How could we do that? Well, we've talked before about perceptual positions. Do you remember the first position, looking through your own eyes? Second position, looking through the eyes of another back at you. And a third position, meta position, looking down. Well, you could do that, couldn't you, to find better ways and notice how well they work? And let your unconscious mind guide you to the new ways. And in turn, it will take on those new ways because it literally sees that you're getting your intention in a better way, something that will allow you to grow and feel comfortable and remain safe. It's all there. Or you could go into the future and just imagine doing it differently and notice how you feel. If you feel better, all you have to say is this or something better. Allow me to learn, allow me to keep the intention and find this better way. It's all then moving forward. And also there's so much stuff on these podcasts, Personal Development Unplugged. Just go back through the back catalogue. There's so many different things. There is like this, the personal perceptual position. That's number 5, way back in the beginning. There's even hypnosis for it, 5.1. There's also the thing about feeling comfortable. That's the very second episode I ever did. And it allows your unconscious mind to learn to be different around anxiety and fears and to be comfortable in different contexts. Sets up behaviors. You can do it for anything. There are so many things you do. You can even email me and we can talk about it over this more episodes of how you do it. So what I'm saying is, when we clear those glasses, we can look out and then find out what we need. So what I'm not saying is you've got to stop and go backwards. I'm not saying that at all, because it depends on the context, on the things that you feel really good about. Move forward, look and learn. But if there's things in a context that you're not getting what you want, or you're not moving as fast as you want, or you're stationary, or you're maybe even going backwards, go through this de-hypnotizing, as it were. Find out the intention, find better ways. I also suggest that you get into like a ritual. Well, ritual, Paul, now you are getting spooky. No, ritual is just a way of doing the right things at the right time, especially on the mental and physical sides. So meditation is so brilliant if you just do it for a single breath, as in that book, The Joy of Meditation I've talked about. One single breath brings you back into the moment and then allows you to begin to understand what your unconscious mind is trying to do for you. It sets you up for your Jenny journal, sets up your intentions, but sets up a way of focusing. That's all meditation is. It's training your mind to focus. Focus and be still. And when you can understand of bringing your attention back into this, you will find the answers. On the physical side, things like yoga. Brilliant, because it's like a walking, a moving meditation too, but allows your muscles to be free. You're clearing energies and all that stuff. There's so much you can do just to allow you to be free. And that's what I call a ritual. So a bit of stretching, meditation, thinking time, Jenny journal time, feeling gratitude. If you only wrote down every morning 5 things that you could be grateful for, things from the past, things right now. We've all got things to be grateful for right now. This then clears your perceptions. And when you clear your perceptions, that's when I know your personal development will move forward in leaps and bounds. You will excel in anything you want to do. And that's what you're here for, isn't it? To excel and share. Because when you get this and you become a mentor maybe, or even just being an example of what's possible, you will create ripples in this world that will go so far and wide. You won't believe how far they'll go. You'll find your vision and the missions that go with it. Wow, that was pretty deep as well, wasn't it? So it's not about adding. Sometimes it's about taking away and then adding like how. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the story. And, well, basically have more fun than you can stand. And, yeah, let me know how you get on. Because I really, really want you to get so much more out of so much more. This or something better. All right, now, speak again. Bye. Hey, and just before you go, if you spare a moment, just a short reminder that, our friends don't always tell us how they're feeling, and it may be a great thing to do that just share this podcast, or if you know of a podcast which they would appreciate, it'd be really good. And if you really want to get every single episode of the PDU, Personal Development Unplugged podcast, just go to iTunes and subscribe. There's a subscribe button there, and it'll come on your device with every new episode. And there's probably 2 a week. I've done 2 a week for a long time now. And if you're really, 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 really feeling kind, if you feel that kind, you could just leave a review in that place where it says reviews, which is a good place to put a review. If you're interested in finding out a bit more what I do, maybe working or whatever, you can see all the type of things I do on my website, paulclough.co.uk. There's also paulcloughonline.com, where I do my personal development programs and hypnosis tracks, things that are not here. And if you really want to ask me a question, well, paul@paulclough.co.uk. That's my email. Okay. I look forward to hearing from you, seeing you, speaking with you, and enjoy your day. Have more fun than you can stand, wallow in happiness, and shine brightly. Bye-bye now. Personal development, unplugged.